John, it's good to see you. I have an important question. I want to know, will I lose my Social Security benefits if I unretire or go back to work? According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, about 3% of retirees between the ages of 55 and 64 re-entered the workforce since the start of the pandemic. Of course, going back to work is a very emotional and financial decision, but if I go back to work, John, am I going to lose those benefits?
The short answer is no, you will not lose your benefit. And it's funny, Aaron, that we went from last year talking about the great resignation to now we're talking about people having to try to re-enter. So
Right?
with
It,
Social Security, you will not lose your benefit, but there are some things you really need to focus on and be aware of. Number one, if you are not at full retirement age and now you are going back to work, you claimed that Social Security early, and now you're going back to work. Well, now you are going to be subject to the annual earnings test, which means
mhm.
for every $2 over the threshold, which is $21,240, that for every $2 over that limit, you're going to have $1 withheld from your benefit during that year. So it's really important that you contact Social Security and let them know about this. Now, you'll eventually get that benefit back, but it's going to be annuitized over about a 20 or 30-year period. But you have to realize that that's a real huge hit to your Social Security benefit, and it doesn't always make sense to do that. The other
Mhm.
thing that you also want to be cognizant of is the provisional income on Social Security, that you may jettison 85% of your benefit being taxed because now you have additional income. So
Mhm.
understand that if you do go back to work, it's going to affect your Social Security benefit. With that, right, you can always contact Social Security, especially if you're within the first 12 months of claiming, and say, hey, listen, I would like a do-over. I want a mulligan for all you golfers. You're gonna have to pay back the benefits you got, but you can sit there and say, listen, I'm gonna go back to work. It's gonna be a couple of years. I rather try to increase my lifetime benefits, maximize my benefits. So I'm gonna pay back what I collected, and your Social Security will then be like you never claimed it in the first place.
Yeah. Okay. And the second point that you want people to keep in mind if they unretire, you may have to keep taking those RMDs.
Yeah. So this is a situation where I've seen a couple of times, because especially now with the RMD age going up to 73 or 75,
Hmm.
if you are going back to work, understand that the required minimum distribution rules still apply. The only time you're not going to have to take a distribution is if you have a 401k with your current employer. So if you have IRAs, or you have that collection of 2 or 3 old 401ks sitting around, you still have to take the required minimum distribution from those accounts. And why is that a big deal? Well, number one, if you don't need the distribution, you're taking money out and reducing the power of money to grow. Number two, um, you're increasing your taxes, right? If you have to take out $40,000 that you don't need, well, you just added $40,000 of taxes or of
Hmm.
taxable income.
Hmm. All right, John. So now let's unpack this topic because, as we mentioned, deciding when to retire is such a big deal. This is something, of course, that you specialize in. Also, you should have that conversation about unretiring if that's important. But, John, I know that you prioritize making sure that your clients who retire, if they ever do go back to work, it's on their terms.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, a lot of people, we say, how many times have you retired? Well, this is my first time. Exactly. Right? So we don't want to get it wrong. We want to get it right from the get-go. So I always tell people, listen, what do you want in retirement? What's your vision? And some people say, I just want to golf and go to the spa, just live the vacation that I haven't done for 35 years. And for a lot of people, that's fine for a year or so, but then they want that purpose again. They want to stay mentally sharp, is what a
Hmm.
lot of people tell me. I said, that's fine. You can go back to work, right? Especially if you're beyond that full retirement age and you've collected Social Security. But you always want to go back to work on your under what you determine. You don't want the option to be forced on you. So the big takeaway is make sure you get the proper advice that you can retire, that you can afford to retire. Because in my opinion, the big reason why you have 3% of people re-entering is because, maybe they didn't get the proper advice, or they made the decision based on the pandemic. Very understandable. But
Yeah, and then they
now,
probably had to tap their portfolio and it's losing money and it's scary
right,
to be retiring right now.
right, which is what we've talked about time and time before, sequence of returns risk.
Right.
A lot of people if you've retired during the pandemic, we've had 25+% drops in the market. And last year was the single worst year for the 60/40 portfolios
Mm-hmm.
in history. And you just retired into that. Now you have sequence of returns risk. We've told you time and time again that this is one of the greatest financial risks that today's retiree face. And now you just retired into a down market. You're pulling assets while your portfolio is losing money. It's causing a negative snowball effect that, if it's not addressed, it can cause a lot of chaos into your retirement. And chances are it's going to greatly reduce your ability to have that peace of mind in retirement. So
Right.
make sure you can retire first. Make sure
Right.
the
Right.
advice you're getting says, hey, listen, if you retire and we have bad markets, I tell my clients all the time, it's okay. I understand. There's going to be dark days in the market. We know that over the course of history, but if you plan for those dark days, it's part of your income plan. It's part of your investment plan. We understand it. We'll get through it together. Just stay the course of the plan. And yes, you can retire on your own terms. Then you're going to be good to go. Just
And then you
remember,
can
though.
sleep well at night. Yeah, that is so important.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
John,
live the
thank you
life
so much.
that I
Yeah.
want. Yeah.
If somebody has questions about either if they are ready to retire or maybe they want to go back to work and they want to talk through these implications with you, what's the best way to reach you with questions?
The best thing to do is visit our website, www.gosecurus.com. We have a ton of resources
Mhm.
on that website. We're always looking to add more, get better, always improve, always deliver massive value to our clients, our subscribers, our listeners. Or you can give us a call at the office, 858-935-6210. From either location, you can schedule a 15-minute phone call or a 60-minute complimentary consultation.
All right. John, thank you.
Thank you, Erin.